Poppin. Boom, 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 boom. Woo! Boom, 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 boom. Woo! Boom, 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 boom. Woo! Boom, 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 boom. What up, though, and welcome back to Popcorn Poppin' Live-ish show, your ultimate movie, TV, and streaming guide. There's too much content in the world, and you can't be wasting your time. So let me waste my time for you by watching all that looks vaguely interesting and letting you know what's poppin' and what ain't. Tonight, we'll review the most polarizing film in theaters right now, Michael, and we'll be discussing the other best music biopics of all time. But first, a disclaimer. How do I put this? Let it be known that these are the opinions of Popcorn Poppin' Productions and that of myself, the Popcorn Poppy. Art is subjective, and I'm merely giving you my opinion. If you agree or disagree, I always recommend you to watch the film or just shut up. But if you watch the film yourself, you can share your thoughts in the comments. In Michael's case, I must highlight that since he has had past and present controversy, for this show, I separate art from the artists and judge cinema on the story alone, and not how it compares to real life outside the screen. Let us begin the review of Michael, which stars Jafar Jackson and Colman Domingo. Jackson is Michael's real-life nephew, and you may recognize Colman Domingo from the series on Netflix 4 Seasons, the films Sing Sing, and Euphoria, the TV show, not the film. This film was directed by Antoine Fuqua, who previously did Shooter, the Equalizer film series, and Training Day. Michael is about a multi-talented yet sheltered Michael Jackson who journeys his rise to global domination, but struggles to find his own independence from his abusive, controlling father, whilst he manages Michael, starting from his early days in the Jackson 5 and spanning to his later years commanding the world as a solo artist and the king of pop. I know domination and commanding are strong words, but let's face it, controversy or not, the man was the biggest thing in the world. So, poppin' or not, let's check over with Bucky. Are you there, Bucky? How was Michael? Walk Poppin'. I don't even know what that means. Thank you. Oh, wait, I do know what that means. Let me tell you by starting with the positives. Acting-wise, Giuliano Valdi, I am so sorry for mispronouncing your name. The young boy who played Michael Jackson, and Jafar Jackson, who played more adult Michael Jackson. Both of their times on screen shined for me. I don't think anyone will argue that they both captured the king of pop very well in both the early and later stages, but they also captured the emotions that the characters went through in the moments on screen. Like young Michael watching Singing in the Rain with his mom, and older Michael rereading Peter Pan to Bubbles the monkey. You can really see character emotions when they watch these important works through Michael Jackson's eyes. Nia Long was good, but if the writing was stronger, we could have gotten an Oscar-worthy performance out of her. But more on that later. Now, Colman Domingo. I'm gonna say this a couple times. Michael is supposed to be a family film aiming inspiration to audiences of all ages, including children. And what do family films have? A villain. Domingo steps in the shoes of the Jackson 5's father, Joseph Jackson. This villain has a gravelly voice and the craziest fucking makeup I have ever seen. According to sources, Joseph Jackson was quite abusive and controlling, but they leaned a little too hard on making Domingo look like the devil. There's even a scene with Joseph and Don King drinking whiskey and smoking cigars by the fireplace, plotting with villainous intent with their gravelly voices, sounding so alike, I couldn't tell which one was talking. Anyways, I blame the script and makeup exaggeration on anyone but Domingo. He's a fantastic actor, but this character was cut out of a Disney film, and not in a good way. I guess they look alike, but they tried too hard makeup-wise, in my opinion. Direction and production was a fucking one in Michael. Directing, the cinematography, and the editing not only recreates iconic videos and performances, but they keep your eyes glued to the screen with masterful pacing and extraordinary spectacle. While watching the film, I was trying to figure out, why is this so much better than I thought it could be? And it came to me. The sound alone respected the film's storytelling by only using music and melodies from Michael Jackson's music as the score of the entire film. This gave quieter scenes room to breathe and not force audiences on what to feel unless accompanied by his discography, but never overdoing it. The thriller sequence was it was awesome to watch, but the final two concert scenes of Michael performing Human Nature and Bad were extraordinary. Human Nature, I've never been a big fan of. I just haven't. I'm not saying it was a bad song, but it didn't really quite capture me like it captured others. But I thought they made the concert experience of that song translate very well in the theater. But bad, it was bad. No, it wasn't really bad. It was really good. It was good. It was so fucking good that I have to say it was the best concert experience I've ever been to. Seriously, best concert experience I've ever been to. Previously, I thought films like Elvis did a good job, but this shit was masterful. It made me happy that I didn't need to go to an over-expensive stadium and only have to go to a movie theater just to have the feels this strong. A fucking plus. These scenes alone were terrific enough for me to solidify loving this film, but luckily everything else was well directed and paced. However, the weakest point, like most biopics, was the story. There's a certain fear of biopics when it comes to story, and that is playing it safe. You'll see that even though critics scathed the film for, in a nutshell, shitty storytelling, historical inaccuracies, and omitting controversial events, the term whitewashing is thrown around a lot. I'm going to start just a little bit back. You'll see that even though critics scathed the film for, in a nutshell, shitty storytelling, historical inaccuracies, and omitting controversial events, the term whitewashing is thrown around quite a few times in reviews for this film. Whenever I heard of whitewashing, I thought of casting white actors in non-white roles in films like Gods of Egypt, Exodus, Gods and Kings, Ghost in the Shell, Aloha, Prince of Persia, Lone Ranger, and Othello. Yikes. But Michael's whitewashing claims are for a different definition, watering down stories, ignoring controversies, and praising the lead protagonist as a saint, pandering to audiences for an entertaining and pleasant watch instead of a problematic, conflicted moral dilemma upon viewing. Other problematic biopics that suffered from ignoring the dirty details and flowering up stories include Green Book, Blindside, and Greatest Showman. These films try and bring in all ages and hide behind providing movie magic and try to help you escape from what the facts may actually be in the true story outside the screen. The issue is, all these films take this safe route and make the core stories boring as hell, in my opinion. You hear the same lines in these. It's your destiny. You can be whatever you want to be. You're truly special, blah, 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 blah. Now, this was Jackson's true ideal attitude for his fans in real life. That's true, but we've just seen this story 100 times, and filmmakers always try to choose to make the core character completely empathetic, especially if the person or family members are still alive in real life, so they don't get pissed off enough and denounce the film, which still happened in Michael's case. Filmmakers do whatever they can to shield their flaws, but flaws make characters more interesting in storytelling. If I have a flawless protagonist and you're going to claim that that's how he was in real life, no flaws, I'm going to call bullshit because everyone has their flaws. And Michael, he lacks courage to stand up to his father and suffers from disconnecting to adults compared to kids who he connects with easier because he never had a childhood of his own. But like all these films, the story represents him as a saint that can get really tedious in storytelling. What upset me most about this aspect was a scene between him and Nia Long during the dreaded Act 2 drawl that most films suffer, biopic or not. But this film had shit that was so goddamn boring in its second act that it's not the actor's fault, though. It was the same dialogue you hear from these watered-down biopics, recycling lines for the parts where the protagonist is feeling hopeless and giving up only for the mentor to pick up the pieces, give words of encouragement enough for them to succeed in the climax. This scene, well, not this scene, the scene in the hospital was where Nia could have gotten her Oscar nomination if only it were written a little better. Instead, it was the bare bones of what could have been better heart-to-heart for these characters. I believed in Nia Long's love for Michael's character, but I just didn't care for the words that she was saying because I feel like I heard them 1,000 times. And yet, I can surprisingly look over these safe avenues that the film has done and separate art from artist, film from reality, and become entertained from everything outside of the safe plotting. Because of its direction, music, acting, and pacing, I give this film a large popcorn. The butter could have been added if it had some originality when it came to conflicts, but everything else was too strong for me to give it a lower score. I also note that I understand that this film may take its liberties, but it is a movie. They all do that when they tell true stories, but the film by itself helped me escape the questions I had outside the movie theater. Do you agree? Did you see it or are going to? Did you hate it? Or did you hate me for calling it good? Let us know in the comments. But, Poppy, what are some other good music biopics? Find out after this quick commercial break.
What sounds or noises actually make you feel horny?
Sounds? Well, the nasty noises that make women bite their lips are as follows. The sexy sounds of me unzipping my pants.
Ooh, ah.
The sexy sounds of me ripping the buttons off my shirt.
Ooh, ah.
The sexy sounds of me tearing your underwear from your now naked body.
That's gonna be expensive. I just bought that.
The sound of me paying for the torn underwear that I did not mean to tear.
You're gonna need more cash. These panties are from Fenty.
Seriously? The sound of jingling change. The IOU that I fill out to you to pay for the rest of those extremely expensive panties.
Keep the change. Just Venmo me.
All right, that sounds like a plan. Hello there, loving lovers and broken hearts.
Yeah, you right there. I'm talking to you. Don't be afraid to get your hands a little dirty. Oh, sexy.
I'm the Barry Brown.
Ah.
What are you watching, you may ask? God! Barry Brown's 2026 Sex Electric Valentine's Day Special. And that's not contagious, right?
I never said that.
Satisfactory, baby.
Yeah. That already happened, as you know. Whoops, Daisy, here we go. Go away. Whoops. If you haven't yet, be sure to check out Barry Brown's Sex Electric 2026 Valentine's Day Special at PopCorn Poppin Productions YouTube page, and you'll find more shorts, sketches, reviews, and tomfoolery. Now, back to the show. What are some of the best music biopics? Well, there is, of course, What's Love Got to Do? Got to do with it? What's love got to do anymore? I don't know the lyrics, I'm sorry. I feel like I failed you. But who didn't fail? Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne. I know I could have used a better picture, but could I have? I suppose I could have. Angela Bassett, you may recognize from How Stella Got Her Groove Back, Waiting to Exhale, and The Black Panthers. Is Lawrence Fishburne, you may recognize from Boys in the Hood and The Matrixes, besides 4 for some reason, and the Hannibal TV series. This film was directed by Brian Gibson, who had done The Josephine Baker Story, Poltergeist 2, and Still Crazy. What's Love Got to Do with It? Follows Tina Turner's stardom accompanied by her problematic husband, Ike Turner. Back in the day, you'd turn on BET or UPN 50. Remember that? And this would more than likely be on, and for good reason. Not only is the story of their tumultuous relationship legendary and captivating, but the performances of 2 iconic juggernaut actors make the screen shake with overpowered talent. I cannot think of 2 better actors that could have pulled off these roles roles and gone toe-to-toe on screen. What's love got to do with it? Everything. A beautiful, heartbreaking cautionary tale of how love may not always be the best medicine, depending on who you want to sedate yourself with. This one is available to rent right now. You can also check out, cause it's the Pick of Destiny, child. You know it will be rocking, cause it's fucking insane. It's just the Pick of Destiny, starring Tenacious D's Jack Black and Kyle Gass. Black, you may remember from High Fidelity, the Jumanjis, the later ones anyway, and School of Rock. Gass, you may not recognize except for in bit roles like in Evolution, The New Guy, and Elf. This was directed by Liam Lynch, who directed mostly their music videos and Sarah Silverman content. But this is the story of the greatest band in the world, forming and trying to obtain the Pick of Destiny in order to rock magically enough to pay their rent. Films are meant to be an escape, and some films take some liberties. If the liberties are entertaining enough, you don't need to question cinematic authenticity. The Pick of Destiny is fun, captivating, hilarious, and rocks very fucking hard. One of my favorite musicals and biopics ever. You can check this one out, this masterpiece out on Tubi. You can also check out Ray, starring Jamie Foxx. You may remember him from Collateral, In Living Color, his music, Django Unchained, and Budokan. This one was directed by Taylor Hackford, who previously had done Dolores Claiborne, The Devil's Advocate, and of course this. Starting from his childhood, losing his sight at the age of 9 and spanning his years, rising to fame and becoming the father of soul. Jamie Foxx is a man of many talents, and he really shines them in this biopic, depicting Charles with flaws that normal biopics would shy away from. But this is one of the more humanizing true story adaptations. An Oscar winner that's well-deserved, Ray reminds us that losing one of your 5 senses cannot stop your soul from radiating your talent through to the masses, and everyone has their struggles, regardless of fame and stature. You can check this one out on Netflix. This is Spinal Tap. Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, Harry Shearer, sorry for mispronouncing your name, and Rob Reiner. Guest, you may recognize a little bit from his directorial films like Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, and For Your Consideration. Michael McKean in Better Call Saul, Clue, and Coneheads. Shearer from Godzilla, and you may recognize his voice as several Simpsons characters. And Rob Reiner, you may have seen in New Girl and Wolf of Wall Street, but he also directed When Harry Met Sally, Misery, Stand By Me, and this, and other stuff too, of course. But Spinal Tap is a doc, not mockumentary, JK, about a band touring and getting ready for the release of their new album, but run into self-reflecting hurdles like maybe not being as good and prolific as they once thought that they were. For years, I thought this mockumentary was a true documentary without watching it. I'd always pass by it in the video store, in Hollywood Video and Blockbuster, and thought, that looks cool, but I don't like documentaries, so kept walking. I got to whistle better. There we go. Kept walking. But it's because of how convincing the filmmaking was that it became prolific, actually, in the music industry, hailing the movie as realistic as it is. The film was not only hilarious, fun, and yet kind of sad, but it spawned real-life tours of the band and a sequel before Reiner's unfortunate passing last year, R.I.P. You can watch both of them on HBO Max. Walk the Line, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon. Phoenix, you may recognize from Gladiator, Joker, and Inherent Vice. Witherspoon from Legally Blonde, Inherent Vice, and Cruel Intentions. But this one was directed by James Mangold, who did The Wolverine, Logan, 3:10 to Yuma, and Girl Interrupted. Walk the Line walks in Johnny Cash's shoes and follows the Man in Black's journey into breaking the walls of country music, his relationship with June Carter, and his troubling lifestyle. This was one of the more memorable biopics, from Phoenix's strong vocal performances as Cash, chemistry with Witherspoon as June Carter, and one of the more unique takes on a recycled story of a troubled man's rise to fame. You can rent this right now, or just go check out The Next Best Thing. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, which is a culmination of all the music biopic stories into one beautiful and hilarious mosaic about someone who don't want no part of this shit. It stars John C. Reilly and Jenna Fisher, and it's available to rent right now. But our probably number one film in music biopics goes to Straight Outta Compton. A real O'Shea Jackson as his father Ice Cube, and Jason Mitchell as Eazy-E. Aldous Hodge as MC Ren, excuse me. Corey Hawkins as Dr. Dre, and this one was directed by F. Gary Gray, who did Set It Off, The Italian Job, and Friday. Although the real NWA were heavily involved in making this film, Straight Outta Compton delivers a peek at how the prolific group gathered and took over hip-hop in extraordinary ways, even if it did almost cost their friendship. Check this one out on Peacock. Those are my top music biopics, but I only know you're begging for more and wondering why I didn't add others. It's mostly because the ones that I mentioned are still fresh enough in my mind to reminisce, review, and recommend. Others are a little fuzzy, but worth honorably mentioning, like Selena, starring J-Lo as Selena Quintanilla. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. I know it's great, but I haven't seen the movie in 20 years. You and I can and will watch it now on Pluto. Amadeus, starring F. Murray Abraham and Tom Hulce, sorry for mispronouncing your name, about Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's life through the eyes of his rival, Antonio Salieri. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. You're dead now, so I don't care. I remember this being excellent, but don't remember it at all because I haven't seen it since I was a kid. You can rent this now. And there's an updated miniseries that I hear is not very good, but who knows? Maybe try checking it out. I'm Not There stars Heath Ledger, Cate Blanchett, Richard Gere, and others as Bob Dylan in different stages of his life. That's right. Cate Blanchett, even a young black boy, plays fucking Bob Dylan in this. Interesting concept that I truly enjoyed, maybe even more than A Complete Unknown with Timothy Chalamet. I need to stop drinking energy drinks. It is an interesting concept that I truly enjoyed, maybe even more than A Complete Unknown, mostly for its strangeness, but I still have forgotten it as if it were never there. You can check this out on Tubi and Pluto. Get on up! Starring Chadwick Boseman and James Brown, R.I.P. to both. I didn't think he looked like him at all. He kind of looks like him there, though. But I remember the film being very good, along with his dance moves. You can rent this one right now. And finally, there's Bird, a Clint Eastwood film about saxophonist Charlie Parker, played by Forrest Whitaker. I actually never saw this one, but it's on a lot of lists as one of the best music biopics that we should all watch now by renting it. So, what are some of your favorite biopics? Did I miss any? Be sure to share some of those in the comments and let us know what we should review next on Popcorn Poppin' Live-ish. Catch the show next week all over again, and as always, I'll see you in the theater and on the couch.